yourself.
Ooh, baby, what a night. I forgot what was the actual lyric of that song, but yeah, what a night it was last night. Not really, because we didn't get top 8, but um, still a pretty good game. But yeah, welcome everyone to the not the year of the chicken, not the year of I don't know, the peacock, not the year of the I don't know, whatever other bird, not liver bird. We will talk about the liver bird team a little bit later. But yeah, today, year of the bird. Bird is the word. I finally made the reference.
I'm surprised
but
neither of us thought of that.
yeah, big up to Matt when he said that. But yeah, welcome to the year of the bird. Talking about Newcastle and Spurs. Well, the league phase of the Champions League kind of finished where we kind of expected at the end, sort of. But the Premier League, but yeah, before we get started, hit the like on the stream and subscribe to both channels. Obviously, because I'm not sure about Charlie, but tomorrow I will be doing the Champions League playoff draw to find out who Newcastle will get, and in a way see who Spurs, kind of size up between Juve, Atleti, Bruges, Galatasaray, and we'll talk about that a bit later, who we want, and we might get Monaco or Carabag next round. But yeah, how are you, Charlie? Obviously we did we did our live watch long. Anyone that hasn't seen it of both of our games last night. So how you feel?
I'm good. Big up to you, Ten. Big up to everyone watching. Year of the Bird should be an interesting show. I mean, all I'm going to say is that compare Champions League and Premier League for Tottenham, it's night and day. It couldn't be further from opposite, if I'm being honest, about how we're doing in the Champions League compared to how we're doing in the Premier League. It's nuts, to be honest. It's absolutely nuts. I mean, bring it on. We're going to win the Champions League and finish 17th again. Like, history's repeating itself. Or we're going to get relegated and win the Champions League. Like, come on, let's go.
If Ange was I'll trust that if Ange was there. Remember when he said season 3 is better than season 2?
He did.
Imagine
say that. Yeah.
winning the championship while winning the Champions League.
Listen, we're gonna do it, man. We're gonna go. We're going to Budapest, people. So yeah, let's go.
And just for people, even though we're not talking about Champions League yet, Newcastle Spurs could meet in a quarterfinal. Though I'll be honest, I really don't want to play Spurs. Not because Spurs have a good. I just don't want English teams. I'll be honest. I don't.
You guys have a good record against us.
But I don't want. That's so like.
You might play Chelsea. You might play Chelsea in the last 16.
We'll talk about that as well. Who I want and who you want and all.
Yeah.
But one thing we don't want is talking about Premier League football.
I have quite a bit to say about this, to be honest. I mean, are we starting with Spurs? I'm guessing because we played earlier.
Bloody.
Yeah, I mean, I won't talk too much about the game itself because it pretty much says it all. The fact that we couldn't beat Burnley. 1 point from Burnley and West Ham is absolutely despicable.
And you got 6 from Dortmund, Frankfurt.
We yet again relied on our 2 centre backs to bail us out. Forwards not doing it. We are an absolute mess in the Premier League. It's as simple as that. 1 point from Burnley and West Ham, and he still kept his job. I'm sorry. And by the way, I will get into the Frankfurt game, but that hasn't changed my mind at all because look what happened. We beat Dortmund. I praised the performance. Then we go out against Burnley and serve up that shit. We were seconds away from giving Burnley their first win since October. If it wasn't for Romero, again, bailing us out, our centre-back, bailing us out, we would have lost to this Burnley team. And it's an absolute disgrace what is going on. I mean, in terms of the lineups, I did actually, I know a lot of people had a problem with it, but I did actually agree with the formation. I said we should play a back three, but we didn't utilize it correctly whatsoever. There was no link between the midfield and the attack. Obviously, a rare start for Zuma in there alongside Gallagher. And now we've lost more players to injury. Porro going off injured at halftime. He's now going to be out for a month. Mickey van der Ven picking up an injury as well, which apparently isn't that serious, but I don't trust the word because how many times have we heard that, it's not serious, then they're out for months. Listen, Tottenham against Frankfurt yesterday had 14 players out, yet this board want to sit here and not do absolutely nothing about it in the transfer window. We literally are on our last legs, and the board want to sit there and let it happen. Just like with Frank, because after, as you can see from the stats, look, should we have won the game? Yes, because we had more chances, we had a higher XG, but at the end of the day, in that first half, I didn't think was terrible, but second half, when you play like that, waiting to be beat against 19th in the league, and then when it's 2-1, then you actually go and start attacking. When you're losing the game, when you should be doing that, when you're not even being able to win against Burnley, we wait until we're 2-1 down to actually have a go in the second half, and then we get an equaliser, which Frank will probably be okay with because he's protect the point, a good point on the road, all of this shit. We played so well, all this shit that he came out with after the game. Sure, I'm not saying we were terrible in the first half. Second half, we were terrible. And look, should we have won this game? Yes. But at the same time, did we deserve to win? No. Because if you go and watch the defending for both the goals, it is absolutely disgusting. But yeah, I'm told that he's fixed the defense in the Premier League. That is anyway. So yeah, this was a joke, and I don't want to speak too much more about the game because what I do want to speak about is the threat of relegation, because this is getting real, people. This is getting real. 14. Look, being in the bottom half alone, is disgraceful. But we are now 8 points above the relegation zone. And if you look at the fixtures we've got coming up, I'll show you if I can find them here. You look at the fixtures we've got coming up. Look at this next run of games. Man City, Man United, Newcastle, Arsenal, Fulham, who we don't seem to be able to win against in the last couple of years, Palace, and then Liverpool at Anfield. I don't see us winning a single game. Based on the league form, I don't see us winning a single game. And this is my worry because you're seeing West Ham pick it up a little bit. You'll obviously be delighted with their win against Sunderland.
Even though we lost, but hold that, Sunderland, hold that. 3-1 loss, like when we lost at their ground 3-1. Hold that. They're still below.
But this is what I'm saying. Like West Ham might be picking it up. You've got Leeds who are on this sort of like Forest one as well. This is getting serious. And do I think we'll get relegated? No, because if you think about it logically, we've got how many games have we got left to play? We have 23. So what's that?
15. 15
games left. We need to win 4 games. We need to win 4 games to get to 40 points, which will keep us up. We need to win 4 out of 15 games. So do I think we're going to get relegated? No. But is it something to think about? Yes. And is it something that we need to make sure we stay well clear of? Yes. Because this is an absolute disgrace. And how the manager has kept his job, I will never know. This board are pathetic. They're cowards. They're just sitting there, letting this happen, letting us drop down the league, sink deeper and deeper and deeper. And then before they know it, with these next run of fixtures, we could be near the relegation zone. And they're going to be sitting there doing absolutely nothing about it and letting this happen. You know, people want to say, oh, you know, Enoch or whoever it is, they're good business people. Well, they're not good business people if they're going to sit there and let their business fall until there's a risk of it dropping into the championship where it will lose a shit ton of money. So no, there's no good business thinking here. This is complete incompetence, and they're letting it happen. They're allowing it just to go further and further down. So we're in terms of the league, we're in absolutely terrible situation. We're in serious trouble, and February is going to be very, very bad. Big up to Zero as well. Big up to Zero Talks. Yeah, subscribe to Zero, guys, if you haven't already. Yeah, exactly. Listen, we're going to Budapest. We'll get into the Champions League in a sec, but I'm just getting this rant about the league out of the way first. This is a serious problem, and yeah, Zir, 100%. Listen, you know, Champions League and Premier League are complete opposites for us. So yeah, big up to Zir. Listen, at least I'll be able to talk good things about the Champions League, but in terms of the league, listen, we're in trouble, man. We're in so much trouble, and yet the board have kept them in charge. I mean, Ten, I'll let you speak. Are we at serious risk?
No, because you'll beat Man City.
That's the one game we probably don't want to win because of the top of the table.
Yeah. I think the fact that you're doing well in the Champions League, but in the Premier League you haven't won so far in the calendar year.
Nope.
I believe if I'm not mistaken, you're probably the only team. If I'm not mistaken, maybe Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool aren't doing great. Yeah, Liverpool aren't doing. Do you know what's crazy about the table? Do you know what's still, despite this like whole relegation thing, do you know what's still crazy is that we're actually 6 points from a European spot.
Yeah,
we're 6 points from it. We're still closer. We're still closer to a European spot than what we are to the relegation zone. That is the crazy thing about this. So it just proves to you that if you actually can get more than one win in a row, which we've only done once all season, it can actually change very quickly. But we're not doing it.
First 2 games of the season.
First 2 games of the season, yeah. Since then, we haven't won back-to-back games. We have failed every single time to win from a losing position as well. But yet we're 6 points from a European spot, closer to that than the relegation zone.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we're so strange.
Yeah, I think for Spurs, you know, the fact that you still haven't won since, well, you won last night, but I meant in the Premier League, you haven't won. You know, in 6.
We've won 2 in our last. We've won like 2 in our last 15. We haven't beaten teams that are apparently worse than us. West Ham, Burnley. They're worse than us, and we can't win against these teams. How are we supposed to win in the next 4 games if Frank's in charge? Because I think if Frank's not in charge, I think we might have a chance. Because even if it's an interim, maybe, you know, they kind of don't have like amazing tactical things or anything, but maybe they give a bit of energy into these players. Because we've seen in the Champions League that not all of these players are shit. Yes, we have some bad players, sure. But not all of these players are bad. And with a bit of, you know, competence, a bit of competency in management, something can be done with this squad. Something can be done. But yet, you know, we're keeping this manager in charge and just letting the club sink further and further down the Premier League.
Yeah. And then from this game against bloody Burnley, at least I can say we've done the double over them and not you. But I would say, to be honest, you guys probably should have won this game, even though you were 2-1 down.
Yeah, but we should have won. We weren't even good, but we still should have won.
Yeah, but even then, when Burnley were 2-1 up, they probably deserved to win, given, you know, the spirit and the fight they had until obviously Romero scored. I mean, you were close just before as well, if I'm Yeah, just before Romero's goal. I think he hit the crossbar or
Yeah,
something.
Xavi hit the crossbar.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think ultimately you got a point, but
1 point closer to safety, people. But
yeah,
do you think, because a lot of Spurs fans are talking about it right now, a lot of people are genuinely fearful of a relegation battle, which I think is something to think about. But do you think there's any realistic chance we could be sort of involved in like that sort of thing?
I mean you finished 17th last season, so
Yeah, but we were safe by February. We were safe
yeah,
by February. We were safe last year. So
yeah,
that, and also, by the way, we weren't 17th the whole. It's not like we were 17th the whole season. We only dropped to 17th at the end of the season. So
yeah,
there's a bit of context, and that was
yeah.
because of the Europa. We put all the eggs in the Europa League basket.
Because I feel like because now probably people because
Maybe
probably
I think it's something to think. I'm not saying we will, but I think it's something to think about.
I don't
Definitely.
think you'll get relegated. I mean, hilarious if you did. Like, imagine I get to talk about maybe like if let's say we get Champions League football, and then you're in the
He's a
championship.
West Ham fan, so yeah. I think you guys are in still in. I know you've picked up wins, but you're still in a lot more trouble than we are in terms of actually getting relegated. But we're not saying we're safe by any means. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I think what do you call this? Are you just going to do the exact same thing last season? Oh, put all of our eggs in the Champions League basket. The only thing is, it's Thomas Frank.
That's the problem. That's the problem. And for whatever we want to say about Ange, because I don't think Ange is good enough, and I think it was correct to sack him. My problem was hiring Frank. And the problem with Frank is because the difference is this, right? People can sit there and say, yeah, we're going to throw away the league and we're going to put all the eggs in the Champions League basket. But if I'm being honest, we don't have a realistic chance of winning the Champions League because
you need to have practically the luckiest run.
Yeah. The difference between last season and this season was last season, for whatever people want to say, the Europa League. I know a lot of people said we won't win it and stuff, but the Europa League was realistic. There was a world where you could see that is a trophy that Spurs could win. Whatever people want to say, we were the favorites at the start of the competition. With the betting odds, we were the favorites to win the Europa League. Champions League is a completely different story. Completely different.
Yeah, and that's what I think. Like, unless you actually go on to win, which I don't think you will, and if it makes it any better, I don't think we'll win it. So at least there's that.
I'm just saying it's not realistic. It's just not realistic to think. And even if it was, Frank's never won anything in his career. Well, whatever we want to say about Ange, and like I keep saying, I don't think Ange was the guy. I think it was correct to sack him. It doesn't mean that hiring Frank was correct either. But Frank has never won anything. He does not have that. He's not able to galvanize a team like Ange does. Because Ange, for those that want to know, the reason we won the Europa League last season was because Ange, look, forget tactics. His tactics were terrible, but he was able to galvanize our players. If you go and watch his behind the scenes videos from the final and the semi-final, he clearly was telling the players, we are going to win this. Like, he was able to galvanize our players. I don't think Frank can do that.
Yeah. And you probably have to play like, the easiest European sides out there, According to Anthony Gordon, teams in Europe actually play football.
They do. I agree. But yeah, so you don't think there's a
I don't think
you don't think we get relegated because
even with that run of games, I think you pick up 1 or 2 wins, and the fact that you also finish in the top 4 or top 8 of the Champions League means no playoff. Though, is that really going to cost Spurs? Not really, because I mean, with your upcoming game, you usually beat them anyway. So like different conversation if you go on to beat Man City.
Like I said, we need for talking about relegation, we need 4 wins. We need four wins out of 15. If you think about it, right, in the last 15 games we've won. Like in the last, we've barely look. I understand we're barely winning games, which is obviously disgraceful. But if to guarantee us not getting anywhere near relegation, we need to win 4 games, and we've done that in the first half of the season. So You know, for as bad as we've been, we did beat, you know, the likes. We did beat Burnley at home. We beat Leeds. We beat
Man
Everton,
City.
Man City. So I think we can get 4 wins. Although, yeah, he's not leaving. He's not leaving.
Yeah.
There's even been reports coming out, kind of, you know, confirming what I said. He's not leaving. You can clip this. You can clip this all you want. Van der Ven will not leave this summer, and especially not to an English club. That's for sure.
Imagine if we get it. But yeah, Botman and Van der Ven with Chow back 3. But yeah, I mean, the game against Burnley, I mean,
shambles, mate, shambles.
Yeah.
Shambles. And listen, one point, he should have been sacked. He should have been sacked after that game. He should have been sacked after West Ham. He should have been sacked before that as well. But he's still here. Maybe the Champions League is what's keeping him alive.
Yeah, but then you don't play Champions League till what, almost mid-March. So what's really going to be excuse now? Because actually now, from now till that round of 16 Champions League game, it's only Premier League. No FA Cup, no Carabao Cup, no Champions.
You know what's funny? Do you know what's funny is I actually think by March he'll probably be gone. I reckon by March. I didn't say like what are you talking about? I said it's not realistic for us to think about winning the Champions League.
I wonder who Opta or whatever betting company odds put Newcastle and Spurs. Like who's ahead?
Apparently they gave you guys a higher percentage than us. Apparently,
I'll be honest when I say I think we do, but not saying we will. But yeah, speaking of Newcastle and not winning, not the Champions League pot yet, but Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 2.
What happened?
Obviously, I was doing my watch along with Strasbourg Steve on his channel, so you can check out. To be honest, I wasn't like obviously Steve. Steve got upset. I was kind of laughing. I told Steve this after the result of this game. I said, watch us go to Paris and perform, and obviously we'll talk about it. But this game against Aston Villa, this is now Aston Villa's first win at St. James's Park since the year of our Lord 2005.
Jesus.
Yeah, so they've had.
And was that in the 05-06 season or the 04-05 season? Like
December 2005, so 5-6 season.
Damn.
So basically 20 seasons ago. So yeah, I mean this game. 1 minute in, we probably should have scored. Tonali had a good run, but then Emi Martinez saved it in the end. Great lineup. But I feel like in terms of the lineup, I mean the big notable miss for us was Bruno Guimaraes due to injury. This is actually the only time that Bruno's not played in a long time. So yeah, I think the lineup. Was it expected from what I see? Yeah, I did expect this lineup. With Miley in the midfield, Trippier at right back because of Bruno's not there. Gordon, Barnes, Ressa in the Prem. And I did say, I think I said in the last show, I said Ressa to start against Aston Villa and we start Voltemada against PSG. Let me see some. Can Spurs win? I don't think Spurs will win it. If we were there, I believe every competition we could win.
Look,
opinion on Eddie Howe out then? I mean, I told Steve this as well during this Aston Villa game. If this was a Champions League game, we would turn up. I'll be honest.
So you're obviously doing better than us in the league, but you have had a similar issue to us this season in the Champions League. You've been more up for it, just like us. In the Champions League, we've kind of risen to the occasion more.
Yeah, and then for the Aston Villa goals, I mean, Buendia, his goal, really good goal actually. If you watch it back, really good goal from the outside of the box, and it felt more like a sucker punch. For our team, because it was pretty much like a duel, like 50-50 duels and all that. But when Buendia scored, it kind of knocked a bit of confidence, especially, oh, we're behind again and all that sort of thing. And then the rest of that first half, we were okay. Obviously, apart from the goal, but I think Aston Villa showed a lot more attacking threat than what we did in that first half. So, and obviously them getting the goal helped them a lot. And then the second half, I mean, we had more shots, but it didn't really amount because in the second half we had 11 shots, one on target, whereas Aston Villa only had 6 shots but 4 on target, and they scored a second goal in the game by Watkins, a header in the practically the last minute or more or less like that. So yeah, in terms of the performance, we actually had a high XG, 2.18. So we're not doing well. This was bad. The result, yeah, but the result against Aston Villa, with us, we actually had a high XG, 2.18. Aston Villa 1.16. I know XG doesn't mean anything, but if we had, I think on another day we probably beat Aston Villa. I would say that, and we do play them soon, so maybe we get something over them in the FA Cup. But I think overall this game we just weren't really that clinical, I would say. Voltemada, when he came on, didn't really offer much. Gordon, as usual, missed an open goal, so from open play as well. So that'll be difficult for us. But yeah, I think overall, just not a good result, I'll be honest. And am I Eddie Howe out? Who you think you'll get in the UCL? We'll talk about that very soon. Very soon, we'll talk about it. But my thoughts on Eddie Howe, as I said, if this competition was called the Champions League, we probably turn up and win, given the XG. And Anthony Gordon would actually, score that open goal in this game. But overall, it's nice that we got the result. Well, not this game, but like I've been saying, we've been consistently inconsistent, even in performances, not just results. So I don't think we'll get Champions League football by the end of this season unless we win the Champions League. Not going to happen, but yeah, but that's for every team. I mean, Spurs will probably win. No, actually, no, Barcelona. No, Barcelona would win. But yeah, I think overall, just not a good result by us, despite having the higher XG, So yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, obviously it wasn't great for you guys. Look, I know Villa have been doing well this year, but like you said, they haven't won at St James's Park since 2005. So yeah, it's not great. I think, yeah, you guys, you should have at least scored 1 goal in this game. I think you were kind of unlucky not to score, but at the same time, I think Villa created quite a lot of chances as well. I think they probably
right now still.
I think they probably did enough to win, but at the same time, I think Newcastle and Imperials just didn't do enough. If I'm being honest, I think you guys should have done better. Obviously, going behind sort of early didn't help. But yeah, that Gordon chance, like you said, I don't know how he's missed. Like if he scores, it's a completely different game.
It was for the Champions League. He scores.
If it's Champions League, he scores. But again, it was ridiculously. I don't know how he missed. If I'm being honest, but yeah, no, not a good result at all. I think Newcastle, again, like in the Premier League, last couple of results have not been good. You know, not goals, not any goals in the last 2 games. So yeah. With Eddie Howe, like, you know, obviously, I mean, in terms of the league, you are 9th. You're still
above. Not you. I don't really care about.
You're still 4 points from the top 5. So, what do you make of the whole situation? Because I think it's hard. Newcastle's always difficult to talk about because I don't really know what to expect from Newcastle because you've obviously had some great. You often there's games where you'll like turn up, like Champions League. Then there'll be games like this where you're just a bit like, like you're like,
if you get okay, you know,
yeah,
okay.
It's a problem because I think the mentality's got to improve in that sense.
If we play Benfica, we beat them.
That's the Steve derby.
And down what they did last night.
Exactly, yeah. But
Porto better.
But it wasn't good from Newcastle against Villa. Listen, Villa are a good side, but I think Newcastle should be better, definitely. But I don't know, like, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to kind of explain Newcastle. You guys are actually similar to us in a few ways. Like you just don't know what you're gonna get, to be honest. And is that why you're kind of like Eddie Howe out because you're just way too inconsistent, or like the mentality? You know, what is it? Because I think I do agree with you, Eddie Howe. I think in terms of Eddie Howe, his subs, I think, are particularly poor. I think his subs are very bad. I think he's very bad with subs.
Yeah, and I think it's also probably like it feels like what you call it's the red pill, blue pill. Like, which type of is it going to be the Newcastle that, you know, fight hard, play basically performance against PSG, or the performance against Aston Villa? Which one are we picking? Oh, last night was the red pill, Aston Villa blue pill, whatever sort of thing. The I believe it's the Terminator. I hope I have the right reference. But yeah, it just feels like, oh, whichever one we pick for performances. Yeah, but then at the same time, the Premier League, we haven't we've won like 3 games in a row in the Prem. That's really the most we've done.
It's more than we've done.
Yeah, but it's only been once that's happened, and you know, we've raised the floor of the squad. Yeah, maybe, but I feel like with Eddie Howe, like this game against Aston Villa, like I feel like overall in the Premier League, he's not really at it. Even though I think still in the end we probably get European football by the end of the season with him in charge. And that's kind of where I expected. I did expect this Premier League season to go as it is. Maybe not like lose to SUNDEER LAND, but like, you know, be this sort of.
I mean, to be honest, the away form is horrific for you guys. But you lost at home. I think that's your first loss at home in the league for quite some time.
Yeah,
so
I think.
It's what I always say about Newcastle is that you guys, for as kind of inconsistent as you are, you're still generally good at home. So to see you guys lose at home is quite alarming, to be honest, because usually at home you're good, regardless of your form outside of like away from. You're usually good at home. So to kind of see you guys, even though Villa are a good side, to see you guys lose at home that has to be quite alarming, to be honest.
Yeah, I think our last home loss in the Prem before that was Aston.
Oh, where you guys got cheated, you guys got robbed.
Gonna say this though. I mean, we'll talk about that very, very soon as well. But yeah, just not a good result by us. Even though I think a draw would have been a fair result. But in the end, I think we weren't really the best team to get there. But in terms of like the Prem, yeah, we're 4 points behind 5th, with plenty of games still to go, and we are battling a team just above us. You know, we do play Liverpool next, which we'll talk about later, like a bit later on. But do I think we'll get European football? I mean, most likely teams from England get some form of European football. And I'll be honest.
Andrew, if Spurs have always been Spurs, what have West Ham always been?
Yeah. And did we push ourselves too much? Not really. Not really, because, I mean, maybe Aston Villa game, maybe we should have won or expect to win and lose to PSG. But then kind of the opposite kind of happened. So we'll see. But I do think we'll get...
I can't even look at the table and not just get angry, to be honest.
Especially even though Arsenal lost, they're still top.
Listen, Andrew, you beat us recently. We beat you as well this season. We beat you 3-0. Do you remember that? Or are you conveniently going to forget that we also beat you 3-0 this season? But yeah, I guess that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think overall, just the Aston Villa game, not great. Not great. But you know what was great? Last night, even though I know we didn't get top 8, but Champions League football, and now it's time to talk about some good things, I guess. It is time. We'll talk about Eintracht Frankfurt. But no. And what do you call this? What's the other? Oh, and Spurs 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's for Andrew in the chat. Do you remember what happened when you guys played Frankfurt in 2022? Just saying. Listen, I'm not going to argue it. You deserve to beat. You deserve to beat us 2 weeks ago. You deserved it, but you know, let's not go there. Let's not go there. But should we talk about what happened when you guys played Frankfurt? Beating Frankfurt is not for everyone. Listen, another win for Spurs over Frankfurt. You know, we have never lost to them. We have never conceded a goal at their stadium. We drew 0-0, won 1-0 last year, and now won 2-0. So Frankfurt are a team we seemingly, no matter who the manager is, seemingly we like to play. And like I said in the preview, this was a must-win game because with a win, we would qualify for the top 8. Failure to win would likely see us drop into the playoffs.
I think if you drew, where would that? I think
we would have been 8th. We would have 9th. We would have gone 9th. So that would have been yeah.
It changed. Yeah.
We would have gone 9th. But yeah, a good win, a comfortable win in the end. Listen, Frankfurt were already eliminated, so I said that we have to go and if we don't win, we are a complete embarrassment. If we don't go through, because this is, you described it as a tap-in. This was literally
it was a tap-in for you.
This was literally a tap-in to go to the last 16. And thankfully, no, big up to Andrew. Thankfully, we got the job done. And that was with, by the way, 14 players out. I mean, if this medical staff don't get sacked, then I don't know what will change, because what I find really strange is that the medical staff from last season got sacked because of all the injuries. They hired new medical staff, and now we've got seemingly even more injuries. So make it make sense. But anyway, in terms of the lineups, says here it was a back 4, but it was actually, again, it was 3 at the back. It was Palhinha playing at centre-back alongside Danzo and Romero. So I'm not complaining about injuries. I don't even think they're an excuse. If you've watched previous shows, you'll know that I don't even think they're much of an excuse, if I'm being honest. Just like today, I don't think it was an but you say everyone has injuries, but do you want to see the bench? Have you, apart from Solanke, have you heard of any of these guys? Apart from maybe Kinski, have you heard of any of these guys?
Maybe.
You know what I mean? That's how you know we're in an injury crisis. But I do agree, it's not an excuse, and it definitely was not an excuse not to win this game. As you can see, a few changes. The frustrating thing is that we've lost Porro to 4 weeks. Van de Ven was out as well. Sarr came back in. Palhinha was back from injury, so a couple of players back. And yeah, Frankfurt had nothing to play for. They were already eliminated. They have been, not even anywhere near as good as last season. I think when we played them last year, they were much better. They had Ekitike and everything. So this was not a great Frankfurt side. They're obviously struggling in the Bundesliga as well, not doing as well as last season. Spurs deserve to win this game. And it's yet again another instance of Spurs turning up in Europe and being a completely different team. Because you saw from minute one, we played on the front foot, we kept possession, frustrating to be honest, because obviously we had that goal disallowed in the first couple of minutes or so for a foul, which I think was very soft. Xavi thought he'd scored, but they gave a foul. And after that, look, were we amazing? No. But we were comfortable. Apart from one chance that Frankfurt had where they hit us on the break, Larson hit the top of the crossbar. Apart from that, they didn't really trouble us. And if I'm being honest, it was really annoying. If you go back and watch the watch along on 10's channel yesterday, I was really frustrated at half time because we should have scored. And, Odebert hit the post from distance. You had Xavi have that goal wrongfully. Yeah, no, there's no chance. There's no chance.
He's trying to do he played for Liverpool, Man City.
I thought he was actually linked to West Ham, actually. I thought he was linked to West Ham and Fulham.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to Lucas Paqueta.
Yeah, Flamengo. But anyway, yeah, I was frustrated at half time because we should have scored. And being pessimistic as I am, because this season has taught me to be pessimistic, I was like, look, are we gonna pay for the not taking advantage of being on top? Because I was seriously worried. Because for those that watch Spurs this season, you'll know that look, we haven't been good. We've been atrocious, in fact. But when we play in the second half, in most games this season, we are even worse than the first half. In the majority of second halves this season. In the second half, we burn out, we run out of energy. So I was worried. I was like, look, we didn't take the lead at half time. I'm worried that we're going to do what we've been doing in a lot of games this season and sort of burn out and, be worse in the second half and everything. And I just didn't trust us just with the recent form, with it being a decisive game and everything. I was like, look, I'm not feeling too great because, listen, this season has taught me that, there's not a limit to how low it can get this season in terms of embarrassments and everything. So I was worried, but thankfully we did continue the play from the first half, and we actually improved in the second half. Straight away, Xavi Simons with a great ball, and I thought Xavi Simons was fantastic. Again, in the Champions League, he's a different player. Just like with a lot of these players, in the Champions League, they're different players. They actually turn up, and there's clearly more of a desire to win games in the Champions League. You saw Kolo Muani pretty much. Look, Kolo Muani, there's been a lot of speculation with him. Are we going to cut his loan short and all of this? And he got his goal, a tap in. I could have scored that goal from that sort of range if I'm honest. But it was all, again, Romero, our centre-back, with another goal involvement, getting the assist, header back across goal to Kolo Muani. And Andrew, I'll take Mateta. I would 100% take Mateta, for sure. Header back across goal. Kolo Muani, couldn't miss. On the line, basically taps it in. And we get a lead. And if I'm honest, it was a deserved lead. It was a deserved lead. Should have scored in the first half. We were unlucky not to score in the first half. Again, I still think, if I'm honest, we still should have created more. I still didn't think we created enough in the first half. But, it's all about getting the result. And we got the goal. Then after that, Frank decided to sit back and try and play, stinky football as usual. Thankfully, Frankfurt didn't really have many chances. They were kind of just knocking it sideways and backwards, if I'm being honest. They did have one chance. I think it was which player was it for them? It was this guy Buta went through. I think he was onside, made a good run, and probably should have done better. But apart from that, they didn't really create anything. Again, this was not a great Frankfurt side. Again, already eliminated, and eventually, the only pretty much impact sub we could make in Dominic Solanke comes on, and for me, he was great. He had a really good cameo. He was holding up the ball well. You could see a difference. He was actually able to make it stick up there. And he goes for on goal after a mistake from Frankfurt. They headed it back. He runs onto it and finishes calmly, very, very calmly. A great finish. Something we've been missing all season because, our forwards, we know, haven't been doing it this season. They've been a big issue in a lot of games. But Solanke, recently back from injury, gets another goal in the Champions League. This time it was a very, very good finish. Very good finish. And that killed the game. That was the game for us there. I said, just get the second goal, get the second goal. We got the second goal. And a good result and an important result because, as you can see, we finished fourth in the Champions League. And we are in the top 8. In terms of stats, as you can see, Frankfurt only had 1 shot on target. For us, 15-6 on target. So overall, a good performance. But this, what I don't get is, why do we not see this at all in the Premier League? And I'm not saying we were amazing. Look, we weren't out of this world in this game, but we did enough to win and we deserve to win the game. In Europe, just like Newcastle in some ways this season, we've had a completely different mentality. What was weird is Romero actually said it after the game. Romero was asked about it, and he basically said that in the Champions League, we have a different mentality. I'm like, why can't we have that in the Premier League as well? Why not? And it's just frustrating because this is what I keep saying, that like a lot of fans say that, oh, every single player is shit. Every single player is bad. And yes, we do have a lot of players that aren't good enough. But at the same time, I think there's more that can be done with this squad than what we've seen in the league this season. And I think, listen, we did have a favourable draw in the Champions League. But I think it's proven that, listen, something more than what we've seen can be done with this squad. And I think, the Champions League has proven that. Vicario's got the golden glove for the group stage. Vicario golden glove for the group stage. It's, for the league phase, sorry. Crazy. But listen, Spurs are a different team in Europe. And it seems that when, the lights come on, full white, the white shorts that we wear in Europe and everything, things change. And listen, this Frankfurt game, does it change my opinion on Frank? No. Because we saw the Dortmund game and then we had the Burnley game after. Frankfurt, listen, until I see otherwise in the league, he still needs to be sacked. And he still can't continue in a job. He should be winning this game. I'm not going to, overpraise it because we should be beating a team that's already been eliminated from the competition. It's common sense. That's what we should be doing. He's doing, basically, if we didn't go through yesterday, it would have been a complete and utter embarrassment. So we should be doing this. And look, credit to the team, credit to the manager for getting it done. But this is what we should be doing. I don't think it should I don't think it should make Frank's job any more safe than what it is, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, good win. Job done. Through to the last 16 in the top 8. But when are we going to start, not absolutely stinking out in the league? That is my question. But Champions League, different team. We're going to finish 17th again and go to Budapest. So let's go. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously, previewing this game before in the last show, I said 1-1. To be fair, it probably didn't end 1-1. Probably 0-0 was likelier. But I think once Tottenham scored, watching the Golasso show alongside the Newcastle PSG game, I think Spurs deserve the win overall. I think it's just Frankfurt or, just like Thomas Frank, shit. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So I think overall, really good second half from Spurs. I think the first half, you could say
should have scored.
Should have had a goal in that first half. Simons should have probably.
Simons
scored.
Was great. He was great. He was right. And he's against Bundesliga teams. He's fantastic. He's against Dortmund and Frankfurt.
Unfortunately, you won't be able to meet Bundesliga teams till the semis.
But I think he needs to. I always say this about Xavi Simons, that he's got the talent. He's got really high potential, but he hasn't, for me so far, he hasn't adjusted to the Premier League. Kind of the differences to the Bundesliga, to the Premier League, he hasn't kind of found a way to adapt so far.
Yeah. And I think in this game, it kind of shows his quality. Obviously, he didn't get a goal, but probably should have. But I think overall, first half, as you said, frustrating that you didn't take the lead. Second half, once you score, I think, I'll be honest, it was probably game over once you scored. Like in terms of like maybe Frankfurt might get a draw, 0-0 or whatever. But once you took the lead, I think it was game over. And then you brought on the only, actual senior player, Solanke, and he scored. So for the first time, I think this is the first time, what do you call this, that Tottenham's goals did not come from
centre backs. It's two strikers.
What a surprise. Strikers scored.
Yeah.
But
I say this about Solanke, that I'm not saying Solanke's the most amazing player. I think he's decent. I don't think he's any more than decent, but what he is he knows how to finish, and he's better than most of what we've got up front. He's better than Richarlison. He's better than Kolo Muani.
Is he better than Ricardinho?
No, nobody's better than Ricardinho, who scored for Kairat against Arsenal. But this is what I'm saying. Solanke, for me, is much better than most of the forwards we've got. He's much better. There's a clear difference. I'm not saying he's world class or like amazing, but he's better. He's better than.
I agree.
Look, I'll be Wilson in his prime. There's an argument, but I don't think Wilson now.
Not now.
I think prime Wilson and Solanke are probably similar-ish level, if I'm being honest. But which is decent, like I said, decent. But yeah, he finished and he took his chance. That's just what you got to do as a striker.
Yeah, and I think overall it was probably the fair result that you ended up winning against Frankfurt.
Frankfurt.
Oh yeah, obviously.
One game, man. It was like, again, he couldn't miss that chance. See, that's the thing, right? When West Ham get relegated, do you remember when West Ham, they beat us one year and they put it on a t-shirt? I remember. I don't know if Andrew remembers that. Or I think, because they beat us, I think, twice or something, or in the cup as well in like 2014. And they made a t-shirt calling it the double or something. It's hilarious.
Yeah. And then going from the city of Frankfurt to probably an even worse city in terms of how messy, and I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of Paris, but Frankfurt is just the same. But it's PSG 1, Newcastle United 1. And I told every single person, oh, I wonder, Newcastle didn't do well against Aston Villa. We never lost to PSG. You know what? We don't lose to them. And we ended up getting a draw. Yeah, obviously, the only sort of unfortunate thing you could say is that we didn't win.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously I was watching this game. I did watch long with Charlie. Not specifically Charlie watching this game, but did this game. PSG 1, Newcastle 1. And the first literal minute of the game, the referees tried their absolute best to fucking give a handball. I believe you watched the first minute of that game. Yep. Literally, Barcola touched with his arm.
I mean, just quickly as well, what's your thoughts on the formation? Because Eddie Howe, he went to 3 at the back for this game. 3-4-3.
I mean, away at PSG, I was like, you know what? Let's see how it works, especially away at PSG. In terms of the personnel, it's good to see Dan Burn back after, the Sunderland player, literally.
I mean, Bruno on the bench was obviously a big call. That was a big call.
So. Yeah, I mean, he was probably still injured, I'll be honest. But overall, I think this was probably the best fit lineup. Maybe you could say Wissa or Gordon or Barnes, but I did kind of expect this type of lineup against PSG, I'll be honest. But literally, what's this referee's name? Slavko Vincic of Slovenia. I don't know how to say fuck you in Slovenian, but fuck you and fuck VAR. Fuck you, Wave. I don't know how that's I know it touched Miley's arm or whatever, but Barcola also touched with his arm. But oh my god, it was literally the carbon copy against when we played them 2 years ago. the Livermental one.
Yep.
And obviously Mbappe scored that penalty. So I was like, you know what? It would be justice if we fucking, save it. And lo and behold, Ballon d'Or winner actually had a stinker. Ballon d'Or winner stinker missed the penalty.
Dembele,
and,
that's right.
Yeah, in the 4th minute or whatever. And I'll be honest, that was justice because PSG, yeah, you could say the first 20 minutes, yeah, they probably should have scored, and they actually did. But
Vitinha.
Yeah, but if they scored from the penalty first, I'll be like, nah, that's corrupt. Come on. Literally, we had to go up against 12 men, 13 men PSG. Because the referee, literally almost every single call went in the way of the European champions, the best team of last year, yet they couldn't beat tiny old Newcastle, come on. Maybe if they scored the penalty, it would have been. However, I will say this: PSG, we are their daddy. We are. They cannot beat us. Whatsoever. Obviously Spurs played PSG, conceded 5. I bet 1000% West Ham versus PSG. I think PSG win against West Ham. Against any team. I believe we are now the only English team that PSG have played multiple times, at least 3 times now, and have not beaten yet. And to be honest, first 20 minutes, maybe PSG could have added a second goal after Vitinha's goal. It was a good goal, I'll say. But, the rest of that first half, it kind of became a bit even though obviously PSG had more of the ball, which you expect. I didn't expect us to have more of the ball. But when we did, we actually, threatened PSG. There was a chance for Automata with a header, kind of didn't connect well with it. But then, a few minutes later, from a free kick, set piece FC, woo! Hold that. Dan Burn heads it across goal. And out of all players, Joe Willock.
Joe Willock. See, 10, talk about the catalogue of players that have scored for you guys against PSG.
Joe Willock, Sean Longstaff, Miggy, Almiron, and Dan Burn. Obviously, Fabian Schell.
It's nuts.
Actually, I believe Actually, we've scored against PSG 6 times over the 3 meetings. Only 2 of them, unfortunately, Isak was 1, and Dan Burn were the post-takeover signings. So literally, Fabian Schär, Willock, Sean Longstaff, and Miggy, pre-takeover signings have scored against PSG. And this was kind of like the oil derby, you could say. But Willock scored just before halftime, and I think probably deserved as well. I thought, yeah, maybe PSG were doing okay, but we scored against them. And then when the second, and actually we should have had a penalty. If they're giving handball for Miley after Barcola handed it to Miley, then it should have been a handball. For touching the upper bicep or whatever, but you know how referees are with PSG. They try their best. Literally, the referee tried his absolute best in that first half and a bit of that second half to give PSG the win. He did his. How that obviously the penalty fair. Anthony Elanga won the ball and got a yellow card. How is that? How do you get a yellow card from winning a tackle for the ball? How do you get a yellow card? I know what was I know obviously Kvaratskhelia, he went off injured early in that first half, which maybe killed the momentum of PSG. But PSG, everyone's saying the best team in Europe. I think they'll win back to back. I've been saying this about PSG. They're not winning back to back. And obviously, at the end result, they have to play 2 extra games in the Champions League, which is something they didn't want. After being crowned European champions, you would have thought, oh, they finished top 8. And to be fair, I did call it. PSG don't get top 8. Start of the season.
You did. You called it.
I told you the injuries could catch up on them, and to be honest, they bottled top 8 PSG.
Weren't they like third or second, like for most of the?
Remember, they won the first 4 games.
First 4 games, yeah, they won their first 4.
And since then, they've picked up what, 2 points?
One or 2, yeah, 2 points, yeah.
So I'll be honest, the ref did his absolute best, and yet we still were better than them because that second half, yeah, obviously PSG still had more possession, but possession is like foreplay without penetration because literally all of their shots were long-range efforts in that second half. PSG, yeah, maybe they could have scored a screamer or whatever, but they didn't in that second half. And I'll be honest, we should have won. We should have won that game. And that's the funny thing. Away at PSG, we should have won this game. I know we didn't. Anthony Gore, I think it was actually, Willock scored. It was offside. The second goal, or his offside goal, he was offside by like 10 kilometers practically. But Joe Willock, for the first time, Joe Willock was cooking.
It's nuts. Joe Willock, obviously he's been bad for a couple of years. Like he hasn't done anything apart from that loan. You know, when he was on loan when he came in and like done well.
And I think his last sort of good contribution was that assist against in that 6-1.
Yeah. No, yeah. Willock's not. Yeah, he's pretty average.
But, yeah.
But against PSG, he turned into like prime. I don't even know. Like
he cooked. He cooked.
Yeah,
he cooked.
Crazy.
Jacob Ramsey, he cooked. And Elanga also cooked. Elanga was good.
Barnes should have won it at the end. Barnes should have won it.
And then actually, even before that, Anthony Gordon, when he came on, and obviously Barnes came on as well, Anthony Gordon literally probably should have scored, or maybe should have had an assist. I forgot who missed the chance whereby Safanov, the PSG goalkeeper, saved. But I think, and big up to Andrew as well.
Yeah, big up Andrew.
He's going. But we should have won. We should have won. But you know what? I expected us. I did predict a win. It should have happened, but I did predict us to not lose to PSG. So anyone saying, "Oh, it's PSG," no. We did, for some reason, and we've played them away twice in the 3 meetings. They have not beaten us. I bet if we got PSG in the Champions League final, we beat them. We beat them.
It seems like your PSG's bogey team. They've never beaten Newcastle ever.
Yeah, seems like the Saudis can own the Qataris. But I'll be honest, we should have won. But overall, if you look at the Aston Villa games and other games that we performed badly away from home, even Marseille.
This was a rare good away game for you guys.
And we didn't win. Yeah. One of the only times we did well away and didn't win. Whether that actually means anything for the game on Saturday, I don't know. But at least, what do you call this? Like, this was like what literally every single Newcastle fan was like, even though we didn't win, this is the sort of performance we needed. This is what we wanted. Okay, not to win every game, but do that every game now. You know? Yeah, we probably don't win every game, but do that. Do that, you know?
I think, do you know what's annoying for Newcastle is that I think that yesterday, obviously, look, because you drew, you fell out of the top 8 and you're into the playoffs and everything. But I don't think that's what cost you. What cost you was the Leverkusen game that we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Even Marseille
and Leverkusen, those were the... Because A draw away at PSG. You're taking that before the game starts.
I mean, you would have taken that when you.
I would have taken. Yeah, I would have taken it.
Even though it didn't make much of a difference, but
in isolation, if you get a draw away at PSG, it's a good result. It's a good result in Europe, but because you guys messed up against Marseille and Leverkusen, that's what cost you the top 8.
We were winning in both of those.
Exactly. So if you'd at least won one of them, you would have made it into the top 8.
Yeah.
But especially Leverkusen, where you conceded in the last minute and everything. But this was a. I watched it back. You guys put in a great performance, I have to say. Like PSG, I did say this about PSG.
A great away performance. You guys or us? I know you scored 3 goals.
I think you guys, considering the opposition. Oh no, you're talking about the PSG game.
Yeah,
you guys were. You guys were better than us against PSG.
Even though you scored 3 goals.
Yeah,
but you could have scored 3 goals. You know.
Yeah, you guys were better, but I think
does that make Safonov better than Xavier?
Yeah, I think so. Big up to Baron. Oh, you must be gutted after yesterday.
Yeah, you bottled it.
Benfica.
Of all teams to bottle in the Champions
I really can't believe what happened.
Yeah.
No, big up to Baron. But I was saying that I did say this about PSG, that they can be got at, because what's happened to them this season is that They were obviously amazing last season, won the treble and everything, but they went all the way to the Club World Cup final, didn't have a break. They only had, I think, a 2-week gap before then and the start of the season.
That's super.
They've literally been playing football non-stop for over a year and a half now. Literally non-stop. Like, think about it. Like a 2-week break, that's just an international break in the season. That's literally just an international break.
Yeah.
So for them, with PSG, they've literally been playing like 2 seasons in a row without a single break.
And those same players, most of them are going to the World Cup.
And they're literally not going to get a break. And PSG, look, they're still going to probably win Liga. Like they're going to, but I think they're burnt out. I mean, not to say they're bad; they're still a quality side, but they are more. They're a lot more vulnerable, and you're seeing it in some of the results, like losing to Sporting,
due to us.
Yeah.
So
lost to who's it? They lost to like Paris FC in the cup as well. Like they can be got at. There is. I mean, we who create absolutely nothing and struggle to score goals scored 3 against them. Yeah, we did concede 5, but we scored 3 against them in Paris as well. So this is a team that can be got at. And could they look? They could easily, get it together quickly, despite them being burnt out, because they got the best players in the world. They got the Ballon d'Or winner. But I did say before this game that I said PSG would win just because I didn't trust Newcastle's away record. But I did say there is a potential for Newcastle to get something. And that's what happened. I think, obviously, you guys should have won, especially with that Harvey Barnes at the end. Should have won it.
But you know what?
Should have won it at the end, and that would have taken you in the top 8. But
we will finish 5th if that was the case.
Exactly. So I think apart from the first 20 minutes where I think, you didn't start well, I think PSG could have, I mean, obviously they had that, penalty that should never have been a penalty that they missed. PSG could have, taken the game away in the first 20 minutes. But I think after that, I think you guys got a grip of it. Willock was turning into a player that I didn't think he could. You got Alanga even doing something who was awful.
He was winning crosses. He was, running using his pace.
So I think it's fair to say that this formation that Eddie Howe went with, the 3-4-3, kind of worked out in some ways. I mean, is that a formation that you'd like to see more going forward?
I mean, our next game, which we'll talk about a bit later at Anfield, I mean, why not? I mean, knowing our record at Anfield, we're not that good, and I still expect us to lose, just an early prediction on us. But do have that performance, whether it's the same lineup or the same personnel, have that sort of performance at Liverpool, at Man City when we play them in the Cup, which we'll also preview and all that, and whoever we get in the Champions League tomorrow, as in like the draw.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
The only, I know, actually, very off topic. There's a lot of neutrals saying Spurs could go semi-final.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait.
Nah. I wish if we get to a semi, then you're kind of dreaming, but I doubt it.
I'm like, okay. Like, obviously, a bit off topic from
Newcastle.
I
reckon we make the quarters at most. I think we can make a quarter final, but I think that will probably be the most.
Yeah,
to be honest,
it's more likely if you do make the quarterfinal, it's Barcelona who I think will beat you. Chelsea always beat you. Yeah. PSG just beat you. Newcastle, which I don't really want, but we historically now beat you.
Since the takeover, you've done well against us.
Yeah, so like. And also, I think people are just hyping Spurs just because they finished fourth.
Yeah, but again, I said this, like, I predicted us to get 17 points.
I said that as well, 17 points. So,
but see, the thing, look, great that we got for top 8. We needed to, like, but I'm not getting carried away. This is the thing.
Actually,
see, the thing is, we never beat, no matter how shit Chelsea
they always lose.
We never beat these bastards, no matter how shit they are.
If it's Juve,
see, I guess we'll talk about after we've done with Newcastle. We'll talk about that in a sec because we are going to cover the teams that both could face in the next round.
Yeah,
and everything.
But for Newcastle against PSG, even Real Madrid have lost to PSG. Barcelona have lost to PSG. Almost all the English clubs I can think of, Aston Villa, Spurs, Arsenal, everyone. The only team that PSG have not beaten, at least multiple times they played them, is Saudi Arabia. Let's go. And now let's talk about how the league standings finish.
I mean, it's kind of agonizing for you guys because look, 14 points, you know.
And also, we're the only team not in the top 8.
Yeah,
but I'll be honest, it's kind of where I expected us at the end of the league phase. I said
you did predict 13 points, so
and we got 14. So in a way, exceeded my expectation. You know, I said 4 wins, 1 draw, 3 loss. We ended up 2 losses only. Though the funny thing is that one of our losses was away at Marseille. Hold that, Marseille.
They bottled it back. Bottled
especially what they did to the Newcastle fans when we were at their stadium. Hold that. How I know I'm not going to mention. I wonder if MG is celebrating. Hold that, Marseille. Hold that. Glorious. I know I prefer Porto over Benfica, but Trubin saved football. He saved football by knocking out MG and Marseille. Hold that. Hold that.
Yeah, look. See, I agree that the owners are bad, but I think that if they were to run if they were to make Tottenham as undesirable as possible, wouldn't that lose them money? So because we know they only care about money, so I don't think they want to make us as undesirable as possible because they'd lose money. And they are losing money because of us being bad and everything. So,
yeah,
I don't know about that, but
but in terms of the table, I mean, top 8 at the moment, which obviously has now ended. 5 English teams in the top 8. Obviously, we're the only one that missed out on it, though I still expected that. But 4th place for Spurs.
I would have taken it at the start, and to be honest, I was doubtful before the Dortmund game. I was like, yeah, we're not going to do it. But in the Champions League, we're a different team. We're a different team. We're a different team in the Champions League compared to the Premier League. It's night and day. I mean, you do realize that with about, however many less games, we've only got 10 less points in the Champions League than the Premier League, or 11 less points in the Champions League. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
I think
completely different.
And when you think about it, okay, Spurs won 5 games. Fantastic. Okay, let's look at the positions of the teams that Spurs managed to beat. Okay, Dortmund, 17th in the top 24. The other 4 wins for Spurs were 31st place, Copenhagen, 33rd place, Frankfurt, 34th place, Slavia Prague, 35th place, Villarreal. Like, literally, when people say, this is why it's not me clowning on Spurs or whatever, but I really don't think Spurs will make a semi-final unless
Me
you
neither.
have the luckiest draw ever. You need, I don't know, you have to, amongst the 4 teams you could get, I don't know, because they're all pretty difficult. You have to literally be like S-tier performance in every game in the knockouts for Spurs to be in the semi-final. Because I'll be honest, no, if it's Chelsea Spurs in the quarterfinal, Chelsea
I don't
wins.
I don't want to play Chelsea. There's no way. I think that see the thing with this is like you said, did we have a favorable draw? Yes.
Yeah,
but here's the thing. We've been losing to worse teams this season. We couldn't beat Burnley or West Ham. You know, look at how we're doing in the league. We've had Copenhagen, Villarreal, these teams at the bottom, but we've been failing to beat crap teams in the Premier League. So
yeah, I think it's just more about for Spurs. It's good that you got top 8 and all.
Yeah, we have too many injuries. We can't afford 2 extra games. That we just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean we beat Benfica, but yeah, I think for Spurs finishing top 8, I mean, is kind of what I think I said 5th, 6th.
I said it as well. I said I know I was more optimistic at the start of the season than I am now, but I did say that we would get top 8, and I predicted 17 points. I got it spot on.
Yeah, so, even though 17 points in different sort of like areas of how you got it, but 17 points, I would say for Spurs, okay, overall campaign, I'll be honest, is it top 4 or 4th place worthy like Spurs, like the performances? No.
Look, I'll be honest, in some of the at home we've been good in the UCL. I think all of our home, apart from Villarreal, we've had good performances at home, but there's been a lot of games in the Champions League where we've been awful. Like Bodo, Monaco,
PSG by conceding
PSG was a better performance than those, but we still weren't great against PSG.
Yeah, and ended up losing. And that's the only reason, actually.
So it's kind of like in the Champions League, we've been bad in a few games, but we've got results. We've got results. So it just we'll see. But in terms of Newcastle, it must be for, like I said, the Leverkusen game. Marseille should have got something and should have definitely got at least a draw against Marseille, and you should have won Leverkusen. Like, if you held on to those 2 points, you would have been 5th. You would have been 5th.
Maybe, yeah. But overall, I did say playoff. I said 13 points. We got 14, so kind of exceeded my expectation. I actually did say, I think 15th place, but same thing, top 6. I said get the seeded spots in the Champions League playoff, which is what we did at the end. So I'm not that upset about being the only English team. And even though finishing 4th and 12th for both of us doesn't mean anything now, like playing the second leg at home or whatever, but now
for us it means that we for the last 16 in the quarters, if we make the quarters, we have the second leg at home for both of those rounds.
Yeah, but at the same time, let's see if we can actually make it there. But
exactly.
But I would say now, and this is why, and I tell people this: league phase football, forget about it now. It's done. No, literally 24 teams start on 0 points.
Now is where this is where the real tournament starts.
Yeah, and actually Newcastle and Spurs are kind of in the same path, quarterfinal path.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, but obviously with Spurs making it into the the round of 16, they don't have to play the playoff. As for Newcastle, if you could maybe zoom in or whatever on one of our left or right, whichever, Newcastle or PSG. So we've actually dragged PSG with us, and we cannot meet PSG until at least the final, which will beat them again. No, I don't. Okay, I'll talk about this soon.
I mean, surely you'd rather. I think you can beat Chelsea, Barca. I'm not sure, but
okay, but we'll start. Let's win the playoff game before we
Yeah,
get there.
exactly. So for the playoffs, you guys will play Karabag or Monaco for the playoff.
And here's the interesting stat between our two opponents. Monaco, if we were to draw Monaco have scored in grand total in the Champions League 8 goals. And that is actually the fewest goals of all the top 24 teams. They've scored only 8 goals. 8 goals. And then, if you say, oh, how about if we get Karabag? They score goals. Karabag have conceded the most goals of the top 24. Literally, I'll be honest, us and PSG got the, what do you call it? The favorable potential.
Favorable playoff draw.
Yeah, because would I take Dortmund or Olympiacos? Well, Dortmund, they've beaten us twice. Olympiacos, you never know. Yeah, we're in the round.
Yeah, I think Newcastle. Look, obviously, it was frustrating not to make it directly, but for you've been blessed with the playoffs.
Yeah,
you've been blessed. Like with the playoffs, I think Monaco or Karabag is a better two options than any of the others.
Would I get Bodo Glimt? I mean, well, I'd be worried about Bodo Glimt.
Glimt, they just Atleti and Man City.
Benfica. Exactly. I know we beat Benfica, so maybe, but still, I don't want to play them again. And then Club Brugge, Galatasaray, I wouldn't play them. I wouldn't. They've been really good for their level. So to get Monaco, who just conceded 6 to Real Madrid, 10th place in Ligue 1, and scored the fewest goals of the top 24, I'd be confident over 2 legs. Or Karabag, who are not even top of the fucking Azerbaijani league. They're not even top of the Azerbaijan league. Damn. And they just conceded 6 to Liverpool away. So I know they got a 2-2 draw against Chelsea, but I would say if Chelsea played that second game at home at Stamford Bridge against Karabag, I think they also win 6-0.
Don't remember we beat Karabag in the Europa last.
What was the score?
3-0.
Home or away?
Home. We were home.
I mean, there. And Spurs finished 17. So I'll be honest. I'll be honest. As Byron said, let's be like Real Madrid.
Yeah, Newcastle have got. If you guys don't make the last 16, that is
okay. Yeah, that's bottling.
You've been blessed with the draw for the playoffs.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. Okay, preference.
Karabag, surely. Karabag. But Monaco are definitely beatable as well.
Yeah, I think both are beatable. But you know what? We've already played the 2 other French teams and didn't win away. Though I think we beat Monaco or Karabag at home, second leg. Or not comfortably, but...
Yeah, it's a good thing as well. You got the second leg at home. So,
but you know what? I want to see us play Karabag. Oh, why not? Have something new, We've never played them, so that I can also say we've never lost to Karabag. Never. Maybe if we win both home and away, I could say to Chelsea fans, "Oh, we've beaten Karabag this season." I'll be honest. Whoever we get tomorrow, which I will do a live reaction. I don't know if Charlie will be on, but maybe Michael.
Yeah, no, I won't. Tomorrow, I won't be able to.
So I'll be with.
I've got to do something at that time.
I'll be with Michael, Ajax fan. Well, Ajax not in it, and probably Liam. I guess I don't know if Josh or whoever else, but I'll do a live reaction to the draw itself on tomorrow actually. So we'll see who we actually get, but I'll be honest, whoever we get, I'd be pretty confident. I'll be honest. I'll be pretty confident.
And in terms of if you do make the last 16, Barcelona or Chelsea in the last 16.
You know what's the crazy thing is that if we draw Chelsea, that we would then 3 consecutive games against them. Champions League at home. 3 days later, away at Stamford Bridge, Premier League. And then...
Really?
Oh, yep.
That's a schedule. Damn, you'd have playing Chelsea.
Chelsea 3 times in 1 week.
That's nuts.
I don't want that.
You'd rather Barca.
I much rather. Why not?
But I think you've got a better chance of beating Chelsea than Barca.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't want 3 consecutive games against Chelsea. whether they knock us out or we knock them out, I don't want to play them like three
times in a week. I don't. Has that ever even happened before? I know it's happened twice with teams, but I don't know if it's ever happened 3 times.
Like I don't want to deal with like, oh, let's do like, imagine going on Newcastle, like if we do get Newcastle Chelsea fans preview. Oh, preview of this
the triple preview.
the triple. Preview. I'm like, what's the, like, I'm not going to get excited getting Chelsea. Yeah, okay, it's much better than getting Barcelona, but you know what? I know we've already played Barcelona, but you know what? Let's have a bit of fun, in the Champions League.
I think you play. What I'm thinking for sure, if you play Barca, you'll score goals. If you play them,
yeah,
you might concede quite a few, but you'll definitely score against them. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if Copenhagen can, if literally every single team can, even
Barca, they concede. The problem with Barca, they'll concede like 1 or 2 goals a game, but then they'll score like 4 or 5 usually. That's what happens.
Yeah. So I'll be honest. I kind of hope we get Barcelona, just so that it's something kind of like, kind of new. If we get knocked out by them, okay, fair enough. Even you said they win the Champions League, fine.
At the start,
I don't want to play Chelsea. Like, who gets excited of a Chelsea Newcastle United round of 16? No one. Like the fact that imagine if we somehow make the final. Our path could literally be Chelsea, Liverpool or Spurs, Arsenal or Manchester City. And then the final could be on the other English team in the other side. I don't want to play English teams in the Champions League.
Listen, we always, whenever we get to a European final, we have to play an English team. So,
yeah, at least you won the last time. But
at least we did.
I don't want to play. If we get knocked out by Barcelona, fair enough. I said round 16 was like the, where we exit, but I don't want to play Chelsea. Like, so boring. I don't want.
I mean, looking at Spurs, obviously already in the last 16, thankfully, but we will play one of Juventus, Atletico, Club Brugge, or Galatasaray. So quite interesting. I mean, obviously Juve, we know the history of the Tottenham, all of this sort of. We know what happened last time, but it's not. I watched Syria. It's not. Look, Spalletti's had a good bounce, good new manager bounce since he's come in.
17th, 18th February.
But they're not the same Juventus as the one we played last time. But then we're not the same Tottenham. We're also a lot worse. Atleti, out of the 4, I think Atleti's the one I'd least want, I think. But Bodo Glimt beat them. So maybe they are more beatable than we think. Maybe. Yeah. Club Brugge, Galatasaray, look, both good teams in their own right. But obviously, I'd rather face either of them than Juve or Atleti. So, I don't know. Like, out of those 4, I mean, probably Bruges. But the thing is, for those that don't know, we actually have a terrible record against Belgium teams. So,
we have one of the best records.
We have against. Remember, like, for those that remember Ghent and like Antwerp and stuff, we've never actually won in Belgium. Anderlecht, although we did beat Anderlecht in the Europa League final in '84. So, yeah, I think we actually beat Anderlecht in a final.
And, last season, Club Brugge knocked out Atalanta.
They did. They knocked out the Europa League winners last season. So, but we'll see. Listen, I think the likelihood is it will be Atleti or Juve. The likelihood. Galatasaray, obviously, we played them last year. We ended up losing. That was our only loss. Our only loss in the Europa last season.
Could it be your only loss in the knockouts this season?
I don't know. So I think all 4.
Here's what I think.
I mean, yeah, what do you think about who Spurs could potentially face?
They're all beatable. They're all able to beat you.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I think we can lose to any of them. I think look, if we play the way we've been playing this season, especially if Frank's still in charge, we can lose to those 4, including Bruges or Gala. We can lose to any of those teams, potentially.
Yeah. Like, I can see a world whereby you beat any of them, but I can see a world whereby you don't beat any of them.
See, Juve I would rather than Atleti, because Juve, I've watched them. Like, Spalletti's doing well at the moment, but I still don't trust Juve. Like, they're not those that know, like Juve are kind of in a bit of a banter era.
Well, actually, I believe now I know eligible.
Well, for the knockout stage, the squads can get redone and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
that's why you couldn't.
Yeah,
play.
so to answer the question, it will change when the squad's announced for the knockout stage.
Just before the playoff, you have to put. I think.
Yeah, just before the playoffs. But yeah, I think it's interesting. It's hard to say with Spurs because on league form, I'd be saying, yeah, we're probably going to lose to all of those teams.
I don't speak Portuguese.
But at the same time, with the Champions League, I said this, we seem to be more up for it in Europe. So again, first of all, it's still early. We're not going to play them till March. And secondly, I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. But out of those four, I think Atleti's the one I'd least want, to be honest. That'll be a stink. Imagine Frank against Simeone. That'll be the stinkiest 2 legs ever. Frank against Simeone. Could you imagine?
I mean, we did have. Huh? Oh no! Well, I don't speak Portuguese. But I would say for Spurs
Frank against Simeone. Jesus.
I mean, I'll be honest. I think for Spurs, as I said, any of them are beatable. Oh, okay.
Oh.
All of them are beatable. All of them can beat you on the given day. Like, I can see Club Brugge beating you over 2 legs. I can see Gala beating you over 2 legs. I can see Juve beating you 2 legs. I can see Atleti beating you 2 legs. And vice versa. I can see you win either.
On our day, again, and our day hasn't been often at all this season, but on our day.
On your night.
On our night, we could beat any of these teams. But more so Bruges or Galatasaray. More so.
Yeah. Like, I can see a world whereby, let's say you get Club Brugge. I can see a world where Club Brugge go 3-0 up at home in the first leg against you.
Especially if Frank's still in charge. Yeah, definitely. That's a possibility.
I've seen, Monaco, Bodo Glimt should have beaten you.
Yes. Should have beaten us comfortably as well.
Yeah. So imagine playing against Club Brugge. I know they haven't been good, but the last 2 games just knocked out Marseille.
Listen, Club Brugge have the guy who's the Greek player, Toulouse, is it? Toulouse, I think. He's quite good. And the Van Aken, they got some decent players. So.
Yeah. Or if you get Galatasaray, Osimhen.
That's what I'm saying. And we obviously played Galatasaray last season. So
Simeone.
Yeah, Simeone, I think he's been washed for it. I mean, I didn't realize this until this season, really, but I think it's clear that he's probably been washed for quite a while.
Yeah, I think the only way it saves is I don't think I'll be honest. I don't think he'll get sacked because
they'll do it by mutual consent and stuff.
Yeah,
like. I think it's right. I think it's gone. I think Atleti's gone stale. I think it's gone stale. So maybe this is, if we're going to play Atleti, this is the best time. But fun fact, we have never, like Newcastle against PSG, we have never lost to Atleti. We've played them once. It was a final though, and in '63 we beat them 5-1 in the Cup Winners' Cup final. So Spurs have a 100% record against Atletico.
So I think the last time you were at the Metropolitano.
Oh no. Oh, we don't talk about that.
And then if you get Juve, the history of Tottenham.
See, look, with Juve, the Juve's interesting because with Juve, I know it's like completely different players and teams now, but with Juve, I feel like there'll be a bit of edge just because of like what happened in 2018. There'll be a bit of an edge with Juve, I reckon. And but I always say this, look, Italian teams, I know they haven't done exactly great in the UCL, but Serie A's, they're very tough to play against. Tactically, they're on point. They're on point tactically.
Unless it's Conte's teams.
That's Conte in Europe tax.
The fact that they got knocked out, I bet they're celebrating.
Yeah, the fact that they didn't even get a playoff spot is crazy.
They celebrated, I'm pretty sure. Napoli.
Yeah, because that's what Conte puts all focus onto the league. So.
Yeah, now they will. But I think, I'll be honest, if let's say you made quarterfinal, your most likely opponents would be
Chelsea.
Was it Chelsea, PSG, Newcastle, Monaco, Karabag? I mean, if it's Monaco or Karabag, then I'll say, okay, you are getting the luckiest path to.
It won't be. It won't be.
But it won't. I don't. It will be one of the four. The big four.
If we make the quarters, we'll play Newcastle, PSG, Barca, or Chelsea. It will be one of those.
Well, Barca, I know, not good, but Barca.
See, Barca, we've never beaten Barca. We've never beaten
Chelsea. You know what's that?
Chelsea is just a complete write-off for some reason. No matter how shit they are, it's a complete joke every time we play.
PSG.
PSG, you just don't know. Like, they could be got at, but at the same time, we could easily lose about 7-0 at the same time. So
yeah, and then Newcastle, well, 6-1. You know,
to be honest, I'll be honest, right? If I'm picking out someone out of PSG, Newcastle, Barca, or Chelsea,
you pick us.
Probably. But again, I'd probably say PSG if I'm honest. I'd probably say PSG. Like,
I think that would be, especially your record against Barca and Chelsea.
Yeah, Barca, but we haven't played Barca that often. But we played them in 2019 and in.
Oh, good omen.
We played them, but we played them in the 80s as well, and I think we've played them 4 times, and we've never beaten them ever.
Oh, so at least. Oh, so I can actually say we've beaten Barcelona before.
Well, we've beaten Madrid before. We've beaten them. We beat Madrid once.
We've never played Madrid yet, and sadly, unless we make the semis, unless we make the semis, we cannot meet Real Madrid. So we'll find out. So I feel like the paths towards Budapest, I just don't want. Yeah. So
for those as well, listen, for that Arsenal one, Palladino's Atalanta. Watch out. Palladino's Atalanta are coming for them.
Yeah, we'll find out. Well, to be fair, if that's the case, Arsenal winning, unfortunately.
Palladino, he's coming for them. Palladino will show Arteta that he's a complete novice, a complete fraud.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I guess that's basically it for the Champions League part. And we still have to preview games, and it's hour and a half, but it's fine. But I think now we can talk about the Premier League.
I hate the Premier League. I hate it. Ugh.
And we'll start off with the game that happens the earliest, I guess, which is Newcastle away at Liverpool.
We know what happens when you guys play Liverpool. Last minute winner. Every time. It feels like it happens every time, apart from the cup final.
Oh yeah, so maybe we should play them at Wembley. But okay, so Liverpool away. I mean, taking from what we did against PSG, if we perform like we did against PSG, we can get a result at Anfield.
Yeah, because look at Liverpool. I know they won in the Champions League, but they are obviously struggling in the league.
Yeah, I think overall, this game, we've not won there since 1996, 95, one of those 2 years. We've not won there in 30 years.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Well, actually, in both of our lifetimes, not seen it yet. Maybe this year. Who knows?
I mean, we have a terrible record at Anfield, but we won there in 2011. So it's not
more recent. So let's see, maybe first time in my lifetime, and yours, obviously. I think tough game, obviously, considering. Well, the funny thing is, Isak cannot play.
Yeah, because this would have been like the whole thing. If Isak was fit, this would be the whole talking point.
Yeah,
of the game.
I'll be honest as well. Is there really a lot of hype for Liverpool Newcastle? I think if Isak was fit,
if Isak was there, it'd be a whole. I'm telling you, if Isak was fit, it would be a whole thing.
They would be like, I don't want to do the action. They would be like, oh, Liverpool, oh yeah, Isak, like how Sky Sports.
Yeah, Sky will like lash it up as like the main event.
Jamie Carragher.
You know what Sky do, like, because this only happens in England, I swear. Like Sky, they'll be like the top 4 races heating up. But in Spain and Italy, they're like the title race. It's only about the title. Who cares about top 4?
Yeah. So I'm like, if like, there's not much hype of Liverpool Newcastle, but if Isak was fit, they'll be like, I can't do it. Like Jamie Carragher,
Alexander Isak.
Isak, I think that I'm not that good of an accent, but or with Gary Neville. Well, it's Liverpool we're talking about here. We're talking about Liverpool and Alexander Isak. You put the money down, they got him, but he's not turned up this season. Well, he's injured now, but I'll be honest. No, his impression would be like no, it would be like that. Alex, you gotta say Alexander Isak, Manchester United, well, Liverpool. I think Liverpool they have to perform well in this game.
I think Liverpool they have to perform well in this game.
Yeah,
it's a Mancunian accent.
Yeah, I mean I'm not that good with it, but yeah.
But this is interesting because I actually look. I
know
know
don't say we're gonna win. You said
no. I did actually. Yeah, you're right. I did predict you guys to beat them up, but you should have won. If you didn't go down to 10 men, if you didn't go down to 10 men, I think you definitely win that game. But in terms of this game, I actually think you can get a result. I actually do because going off that PSG game, I still don't trust you guys away from home. But Liverpool, they've been awful. Like they just lost to Bournemouth. They've been drawing at home to the likes of Leeds and everything. They're, I think, 4 games without a win in the league. I think it is. So
I think 5
or 5. Yeah, 5 games without a win.
They haven't won in 2026 in the Prem,
just like us.
Newcastle.
So I actually think this is a good time to play them for you guys. Obviously, we know Liverpool. They've struggled this season. They've kind of dropped. Florian Squirt's not doing it. All of this or Isak, getting injured and everything. I think you guys can get something. I mean, could they get a last minute winner and snatch it? Yes, but I think this is a decent time for Newcastle to go to Anfield. I think. I think you need to set up in the way you set up against PSG. I think if you go free at the back, you can cause them problems. We know Liverpool defensively they've been horrific this season. Yeah, absolutely horrific.
And I'll be honest, do I honestly think we'll win? No. Do I think we'll draw? That's possible. But I'll be honest. You know how the referees will be like.
Yep. They Liverpool for a reason.
Like play on Liverpool.
Or do you know if Liverpool, when Liverpool are not winning, they'll add on like 15 minutes stoppage time.
You know that for sure. If it's 1-1, 2-2,
there's like going to be like 15 minutes from nowhere.
And then when Liverpool scored the inevitable last minute winner against us, this is the best Liverpool. What it's been like. Who's been the players? Fabio Carvalho, Darwin Nunez.
And those go on 10's challenge. Check out his watch along.
And then who's the other one? Rio Egunamoa. So it's not even like Mo Salah or like one of the big hitter names, that's done it.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, we'll lose. I'll be honest.
You think you lose? See, I think that could easily happen because of your record at Anfield and just, Liverpool Newcastle seems, apart from the cup final, it usually seems to go one way with last minute winners.
You know what? We should just keep on playing them in cup.
Play them at Wembley, yeah. Just play them at Wembley.
On there. But I'll say this. I know if we beat them
at Anfield, that would be funny. With the whole Isak thing, that would be funny.
I would be like, but it won't happen. I'm saying 2-0 Liverpool.
You don't think you score against? Defensively, they're horrific this season. Although they did get a 0-0 draw against Arsenal. So
yeah,
I would say. Do you know what? I think you guys get a draw. I don't think you win, but I think you get a draw. I'm gonna say 1-1. Just like him during COVID when Joe Willock scored in the last minute.
Was it Willock? I thought it was Wilson, but oh well.
Steve Bruce. Do you remember Steve Bruce?
Steve Bruce.
Steve Bruce got a point at Anfield. So
Eddie Howe has not yet done that.
But I think this weekend this will be the weekend he does.
That's why I say Eddie Howe out. Not picked up a point at Anfield. Steve Bruce has. If I'm not mistaken, I think Alan Pardew has. I think Rafa Benitez has. I don't remember, but
I'm going to say you get a draw. 1-1, I think. I think you're playing them at a good time, and if you're coming off the back of that PSG game. So I'm saying 1-1.
No,
Yeah,
no.
Saul was decent. Saul was decent. He
Yeah,
was decent.
but yeah, I'll be honest. I don't think we'll win, but or draw.
See, Liverpool, yeah, it's one of those teams. Just it's the same with us. Like we have an awful record against them as well.
And you
Like,
still lost to them.
we
You
did.
know.
Although they should, although with 9 men, we actually should have gotten a draw. But they almost bottled it to 9 men.
Yeah.
By the way, the ref lost us that game. I think a
Yes.
draw. I think it probably would have been a draw if the ref wasn't so shit.
Yeah, but speaking of performances against a certain team that we have a bad record at, your best performing one, Tottenham, Man City, and we also have to preview Newcastle, Man City, but Spurs, Man City.
See, this is always interesting because there's a few things to talk about of this. Because I mean, one, Spurs have a great record against Manchester City. We own these guys. Man City. Listen, there are little brothers. Man City. You know,
5, 6 players, maybe. I don't know. I haven't actually counted.
we definitely have more. That's for sure.
Maybe.
But Sintra, Man City, they're our little brother. Man City. You know, we no matter how shit we are, we seem to always turn up against them and get results.
Do you want to for this game?
That's what I was going to come to because we've beaten them once this season. We beat them at the Etihad, second game of the season. And that was for me, that was by far our best performance of the season. The problem, though, is that we're in a not as serious as 2024 because in 2024, we played Man City the second last game of the season. And if we would have not lost, that would have handed Arsenal the title. So,
yeah, which would have been something that would have been
thankfully, we lost that game. And for those that don't know, look, Spurs had nothing to play for. I mean, technically top 4, but that was already... We needed other results to go in our favour, even if we won that game. So,
and ultimately, you ended up winning the Europa.
We won the Europa. So we knew we were going to finish 5th. We knew that we were very, very likely going to finish 5th going into that game. So, and we did. We finished 5th. So there wasn't anything really on the line for us. And that's why I was very much okay with us losing, because it wouldn't make a difference to our season. And we could not have Arsenal winning the league. It just could not happen. Now, we're kind of back, not to that extreme, because it's not like if we beat them or draw that it hands Arsenal the title, because that's what would have happened if we didn't lose to them that time. But this time, it's kind of similar, because obviously Man City are 4 points behind. We can't afford for it to be, more, because we can't have them winning the title. It's as simple as that. What I would say is this. I'll be annoyed if we win because why did we not beat West Ham and Burnley, but yet go and beat Man City and help Arsenal, get closer to winning the title and everything? Why could we not beat West Ham and Burnley? That would be my big... If we beat Man City or even get a draw against them, my biggest question will be, why could we not beat West Ham and Burnley back to back? That would be my biggest question. However, what do I think will happen? I think this time, I think we lose to Man City this time. Because the league, like I said after the Frankfurt game, nothing has changed my mind. Because we had the Dortmund game, then we had the Burnley game. We know what happened. Now we've had the Frankfurt game, and until I see otherwise in the league, my opinion has not changed. Until I start seeing better results and not absolutely shambolic results and performances in the league. And that hasn't happened yet. Will that start against Man City? It wouldn't surprise me because we often do well against Man City. So, look, if we went and won this game, I wouldn't even be shocked. Despite, obviously, Man City being, very far ahead of us, I wouldn't be shocked if we won this game, just simply because of our very, very good record against them. But I think this time they will beat us. Plus, despite our good record, they have actually beaten us the last 3 times at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Once in the Cup, in Ange's first season, 2024, and twice in the league. That season and last season, we won 4-0, for those that remember, at the Etihad. But they did beat us 1-0 at our stadium. So we have lost to them recently. Overall, our record is, we still do better against them than they do against us. but they have been able to beat us the last couple of years. So, in one of the games, that is. So, this time with our league form, I'm saying Man City will beat us this time. And I'm going to say, same as last year, I'm going to say 1-0 Man City against us. Which definitely, look, it's definitely, all I'll say is this, it's definitely not the worst game to lose by any means because of what's happening at the top of the table.
I don't know, actually, because obviously it's not the most extreme because it's not the penultimate game.
It's not like last. I mean, people are comparing it to last time, which I understand, but it's not entirely the same.
Yeah, like even if you win, they could still win the title, and you could still finish 5th.
Well, if you remember, in the treble season, we beat Man City, and Arsenal went, I think, 10 points clear after that game, and then we all know what happened. They bottled it.
Yeah. So I think for this game, obviously you have a good record against them overall historically, and obviously, after they play you, we have to go to them in the cup, which we'll talk about just after this. But I'll be honest, I think Manchester City and Spurs usually means that Man City
Spurs win against them.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, considering what was the upcoming fixture after this for Spurs? I think it's
Man United away.
And then you have like a lot more difficult games as well.
Look, this run I spoke about it at the start of the stream. This run is horrible, and we'll probably get Frank sacked.
Yeah,
but we have to find results from somewhere.
Yeah, I think. Damn. Man City, Man United, us, Arsenal, Fulham. Okay, Fulham. Okay.
Yeah, but Fulham we don't do well against. Fulham the last couple of years they've had our number the last couple of years. And
then, so this coming month is the North London Derby, which you know what always happens nowadays. So
yeah, but it's mostly Ange. I mean, that's the embarrassment of the state we're in, to be honest.
Yeah.
Before Ange came in, we actually had a very good record at home in the North London Derby. Yeah. Not at the Emirates, but at home, apart from the last 3 years, we have had a very good record against Arsenal. But
yeah, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with this. And why we haven't done it in this window is disgusting. And this board should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, I think this game as a prediction, just because of your record against them, I'll say 2-1 Spurs.
2-1 Spurs.
And then Arsenal go on and beat Leeds. And then 7 points clear again. And then when you play Arsenal, maybe you win.
See, this is what will piss me off. If we beat City and lose to Arsenal, man. Why can't it be the other way round? Like, honestly. Ugh.
So, you know what? I'll let you suffer. 2-1 win for Spurs.
It's the only time I'm going to suffer with a win. Listen, I don't think the Frankfurt game hasn't changed my mind on the performances. I think City, they're going for the title. They know they can't really slip up anymore as well. So I'm saying 1-0 City. Listen, they're not going to batter us. City never batter us. Even when they beat us, it's always close. I
think the closest was 4-2.
Even then, we were 2 under Conte. I remember we were 2-0 up in that game. Even so, I reckon they edge it 1-0. I think. I'm actually, do you know what's funny? I'm actually more worried about the Man United game than the Man City game because Man United, they're actually looking decent. They beat Arsenal and City back to back.
I wonder who said that they could do that.
You called it.
But speaking of Manchester City, I have to talk about them again because the Carabao Cup semi-final, second leg. So it's Manchester City at the Etihad for Newcastle because Spurs aren't in it anymore. I wonder who knocked them out. Though, to be fair, we'll get knocked out next week.
Well, you're currently trailing 2-0 going into that game.
Yeah. And obviously, I think it also depends on what happens against Liverpool and potential, I hope not, obviously knock on wood, injuries or whatever, suspensions. So, tough game with 2-0 down. And to be honest, people expect Man City to progress to the final. So, I'll be honest, I can 1,000, I don't know. But the thing is that we've not scored at the Etihad since 2018.
Yeah, the Etihad. You guys have a horrible record at the Etihad. Horrible.
Yeah. Though I think, if I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong. The last time we played in the Carabao Cup away at the Etihad, I think we won.
Yeah, and then guess who knocked you out in the next round?
Well, unfortunately, we knocked you out. Now.
But that season we beat you. It was Poch's first season. I remember we beat you 4-0. I remember.
Yeah. So I think. Do I think we'll make the final? If we make the final, that would be hilarious. That means Man City actually bottled it. But my expectation is I don't think we'll make the final. Even if we win, like we can win 1-0 and still miss out.
We need it. And what about Newcastle? What are you guys doing? You're not.
We signed Dan Burn. It's like a new signing.
Is that what Eddie? Yeah, Eddie Howe. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, against Man City, even if we win like 1-0, 2-1, it won't be enough. So basically, have to go for it. I think the first 10, 15 minutes we have to score, because then let's say Man City maybe Man City have a bad start, but if the game's still 0-0, okay, let's slow the tempo and all that. If you're Man City, if they don't start well against us, first 10, 15 minutes. So, and also people expect Man City to win. So why not go for, a lot of people expected us to lose. You expected us to lose to PSG when I said we never lose to them. So
that's true.
We should have beaten PSG. So yeah, even if we beat Man City by 1 goal, like 1-0, 2-1, it won't mean much because, well, they would win on aggregate still. I'm not sure if this ends in a 2-goal margin win for us. Is it extra time or penalties? Actually, I'm not sure. I
think it's penalties, because I think the final's extra time, but I think the rest of the rounds are penalties. So
we'll see. So we basically have to.
I think with this game, like there's in a way it's kind of there's nothing to lose because you're 2-0 down. You might as well go for it.
And everyone expects us to get knocked out anyway now. So let's see if we actually make the final from the position we're in.
Could you imagine if you turn? Look, I'll be honest. If you guys turn this around, fair play. The odds are massively against you.
Yeah, it's against us.
If you turn this around away from home, crazy.
Okay, if I was to say, because we have Liverpool and Man City away, which one would I prefer us winning and progressing, or picking up points or whatever? I'm okay continuing to lose to Liverpool at their ground if it means we're in the cup final. If we make the cup final from the position we're in, okay, you know what? I'll be Eddie Howe. I'll be back Eddie Howe in.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
If we progress, if we still lose, even
if you can make the Carabao Cup final from here, that would be. Look, I think if you guys, I'll tell you what, if you guys knock Man City out, you're going to win the cup. I'm telling you.
Yeah, we'll win it.
If you turn this around, you will go on to win that cup. Whether it's Arsenal or Chelsea in the final, you will go on to win the cup if you knock Man City out from this position somehow.
Yeah, because I think that will
just galvanize you guys, and it will just kind of make you believe in. But unfortunately, I do think your trophy defense is coming to an end. I think if you're going to have any chance, you have to score early. First 10, 15 minutes, if you score early, then we're talking. But with your record at the Etihad, plus obviously what happened in that Cherky goal right at the end just killed it for me. That killed the tie.
The last minute winner.
Because if it's 1-0, it's a different story. But that Cherky goal for me killed the tie. That killed the tie because it was late, second goal at your ground and everything. I'm gonna say you're gonna come out, you're gonna try and get that goal. But I think City will pick you off, and I think they'll win 2-0 again. I think but we'll see. Look, if you score early, you never know. Anything could happen.
The delusion in me would say like us winning. Let's say score in the what do you call this? In the 80th minute, we score in the 80th minute, 2-1 aggregate. 99th minute,
Jesus.
2-0, and then I think it goes to penalties. And then we win on penalties. But I'll go. Okay, I'll have a bit of faith that we score a goal. However, I don't think it'll be enough. I'll go 2-1 Man City. We'll score. Okay, maybe. Okay, we score a goal, but it won't be enough, I think. But if we actually make the final, if
you make the final from here, you're winning it. I'm telling you, you're winning it again.
Like, I mean, we're going to be playing Arsenal or Chelsea, considering Chelsea's record at Wembley. Yeah, we should have.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I do think City will get the job done.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your honest prediction for this?
2-1. I'll have some faith. Maybe we score 1, but
2-1 City.
2-1. Or even 1-1. Or even if we win 1-0, that won't be enough anyway.
It's that Cherky goal at the end in that first leg. For me, that's kind of I think that's the decisive moment.
Imagine if we have a Lucas Moura moment. Like, let's say
Anthony Elanga hat trick. Could you imagine? Scenes.
Well, we'll see. We'll see when the time comes. So if you have beaten, yeah, because we also turn up in the Champions League.
The thing is with Newcastle, it's like I said, that Leverkusen game really cost them.
I think it was. We would have been on 15 points, but the goal difference. No, actually, we wouldn't even make it. So it's actually Marseille. When you think about it, Marseille was the game that we missed out on top 8. But it's the past, so can get over it. But yeah, and even though it's not you did okay against PSG.
The Super Cup, Frank fucked it with his substitutions. That's what thing happened.
And very quick, we'll both say Man City make the final. Chelsea or Arsenal?
I'd rather Chelsea, but I think it'll be Arsenal. But then I think City will beat them in the final. So basically, my prediction is I think City will win the Carabao Cup.
I'll go the same. But if it's Newcastle in that cup final, we win.
If it's Newcastle, you'll win. But if it's basically whoever out of City and Newcastle,
whoever wins this,
I think City or Newcastle will win the Carabao Cup. I think.
Yeah, I'll also say Man City, Arsenal, Man City to win. Though, might not like this. I think then it would galvanize Arsenal to win the Prem.
Oh, well, kind of like Liverpool last year when Liverpool lost the Carabao Cup final and then won the Prem.
Yeah, basically. So you wouldn't like that. So I think that might be something, but we'll see if we make the cup final.
If you do it from here, yeah, fair play.
Oh, that'll be crazy. But yeah, practically 2 hours stream.
Yeah.
Basically a watch long, basically. But yeah, it's time to finish the show. It's been a very long show, but a good show when you think about it. Apart from the opening, 35 minutes of this show, talking about the Premier League games. But overall, it was a good show. And yeah, obviously for me, tomorrow I will be doing a live reaction to the playoff draw happening. See if we get Carabao or Monaco, but I'll be honest.
Yeah. No, unfortunately I won't be able to make that. But another good show. Thanks for having me on. Subscribe to both our channels, guys. Of course, this is broadcasted on both, so if you haven't, please do subscribe. And should be an interesting next couple of games. Next show should be quite interesting, I think.
Yeah, and then obviously we'll see who we get in the Champions League tomorrow. But yeah, so as I said, everyone, please hit the like button on the stream. Subscribe to both of our channels, and if the next time we do this show and we're in Wembley, hold that, Man City, but probably won't happen. But yeah, see you guys in the next one. Most likely Monday. La Piña Rosa.
Yes. Big up, guys.